Hey, welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, the stigma of therapy. Why in the world would anybody think that it's not a good idea to go get some help? And yet there's a whole lot of us that do.
I like the title, Quitting on Yourself.
Quitting on yourself. Okay, that's
on
a good
Just
one.
These Guys today, we got Pastor Mike in the house.
We got Dr. Parker.
We got some news.
You got some big news. Big changes. Why am I not? Big
Speaking
changes.
of quitting, I quit.
Yep. Out of all the things you could have told me the other day, that's one thing that I would not have expected when you told me I got big news. I got big news.
I quit.
Do you want me to tell you now or do you want me to tell you later? I'm like, tell me whenever you think I would want to know.
Well, you got
Big
what I
news,
was
big
referring
news.
to, right?
Probably not.
Probably not, but because I will find out you've done something like 2 or 3 days after.
Oh,
the
yes. Yeah, that's true.
So when I had this big decision and announcement to make,
Mm.
I said, do you want me to wait 2 or 3 days? And
Yeah. So you find it. So you're the last to know.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I didn't make that connection.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, what's your big news?
I am quitting. I'm quitting the practice.
Quitting the practice.
Quitting the practice.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
How many years you been building this?
20.
20 years of building your practice.
Yep.
And you're walking away.
Overnight. Boom. Done. Out.
Wow.
Everybody get out of the pool.
So are there a lot of people right now that are panicking when they're hearing this? Because their therapist is walking away from them?
I've spoken to most, and I will continue to speak to them this week.
Yeah.
I'm leaving my practice. The clinical portion, the forensic portion will continue. So if there's an attorney or a judge listening to this, relax.
Mm-hmm.
That portion will continue, but the VA reached out and made an offer.
Wow.
And Tish and I talked about it and made the decision. It's the next 20 years is going to be the VA.
Helping veterans.
Yep. It's, full circle.
Yeah.
I started this whole journey when I joined the military and began to take psychology classes during my second enlistment and got out of the military. So I'm going to take everything I've learned the last 30 years and take it back.
Full circle.
Full circle.
That's really cool. So because you're working for the VA, you are going to be working specifically with veterans only.
Correct.
Not family members of veterans, but veterans only.
Well, whoever qualifies for benefits through the VA
Yep.
and can access the VA services, then those are the people that I'll be working with.
Wow. That is awesome. Well, congratulations. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's one of those buttons, but I don't know which one.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. A little late.
That's going to be awesome. And it is going to be a huge change because you've for years now gone into your office and you've been the guy.
Well,
now you get to kind of relax a little bit more and not have to worry about so many of the things that you had to worry about to keep the
there are
thing
pros
going.
and cons. There's
Yeah.
being your own boss. You can take off any time of the day you want.
But you don't.
Well, I
You're-
could.
So-
And I mean, like if, my mother-in-law, her light went out in the kitchen
Sure.
and I looked at my schedule and I had 2 hours open. So I ran to Lowe's, bought a light, went fix her and boom, boom, boom.
Right.
I have those freedoms. If I wanted to take off early on a Friday, go to a movie, I can do those things, roll in late if I want, cancel, go on a vacation. I'm in charge. I'm the boss. So I lose a lot of that freedom going to work for an agency. But then the other trade-offs are that I have, staff, I have scheduling, I have the opportunity to work directly with veterans. There's, pros and cons. And
Sure.
she and I sat down and talked about it and made the decision that the best option, the next option, next 20 years, the VA.
So is this a role where you'll be working Monday through Friday, your weekends will be free, your evenings are free?
Don't
Just
know.
curious.
I think that's about what it'll be. Kind of an 8 to 5 gig.
Yeah.
But I honestly, this is me. Ready, shoot, aim. I got a basic thumbnail sketch that it's a 40-hour a week gig. Seeing veterans, and that's about all I know.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah. I will.
Sure.
I'll leave my practice and figure it out later.
Yeah.
I love that because that's what faith looks like. Mm-hmm.
And this was, literally a kind of a faith opportunity because I didn't seek it out. Last year's random email popped up in my email box and clicked yes and followed the prompts and then ended up with an interview earlier this year. And really heard nothing since then till last Tuesday when 4:00 there I'm on the phone with the HR saying you have 48 hours to decide.
Yeah.
So we talked, and then Thursday 5:00 and everything submitted to accept the offer. And so next few weeks there'll be some transitioning. So I quit to go to something better. I quit my old self to go to my new self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you were talking earlier about why don't people like going to therapy?
Yeah. It seems like I'll talk to people pretty regular who I will suggest, you could really use someone, a professional to speak with, because I can only take them so far. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed counselor. I can tell them what I believe God,
Sure.
wants them to hear, and what little I know, I can help them. But most of the time, I'm telling them, okay, well, we need to take the next step and go talk to someone, and it seems like there's a lot of hesitation. Help explain that? Because somebody out there right now could benefit big time from going and talking to somebody, but it's something that's holding them back.
If you're out there listening and you are not gone to therapy yet because of X, Y, and Z, that is why you need to go to therapy.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's, much of the times what holds a person back from going to therapy is the thing that they're dealing with. So people who are depressed, they feel depressed, they know they're depressed, they know they want to be better, but they just don't see the point. That's that depressed thinking. Why bother? How's it going to help? It's not going to help. And then they don't have the energy to get up and do the research, find a therapist, make a phone call, take off work, go in. They're rock bottom with their energy level. They're barely getting, out of the bed to go to work, and they get back home, go to bed.
Yeah.
And now you're asking them to do additional work, and they just don't have the motivation to do it. Plus, with the stinking thinking, with the depressed thinking, they're are already predicting it's not going to work, it's not going to help. Nobody's been able to help me, and so they don't go. But that is the very thing that therapy can help with, is helping them with the motivation, learning to think differently, learning different ways to obtain some energy to start moving forward. And in this article that I brought in today that we will briefly discuss, it mentions something in reference to that. How do we get going forward? And so people who are depressed, their depression prevents them from going to therapy. And then people who are anxious, who worry a lot, well, they worry about what's it going to be like to go to therapy? How much is it going to cost? Will I be able to afford it? What if my boss doesn't want me to take off work? What if it doesn't work? What if what if he's a weirdo? What if, there's all these worries that they have that, the fear presents a wall to them, a barrier that they can't overcome. And so, just whatever you're dealing with, that is the thing that prevents you from going to get help with the thing you're dealing with. If you've had a bad past and you've done things or had things done to you that you are ashamed of, well, go to therapy and tell somebody else all about your secret shame.
Right.
That's not going to work. So I'm ashamed of this. I'm hiding it from myself. I can't deal with it. I can't cope. I'm an imposter. People don't know me. And if I go to therapy, then I got to tell him the very thing I'm trying to hide from everybody.
Yeah.
So oftentimes the thing that prevents the person from going to therapy is the thing they need help with.
Mm.
And that's the reason to go, is because there is help with getting undepressed. There is help with learning how to deal with anxiety and eliminate anxiety. There is help with coming to grips with events that have occurred in the past or things that you have done in the past, so that you can live the life that God laid out for you. I came so you may have a good life.
Well, I know there's just so many different reasons that people need to talk to someone. People just need help. There's just an example of a lady that I recommended someone to just this last week. She found her mother deceased, and their relationship was super tight. They were each other's best friends, basically. And the way she found her was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
And so just having some anxiety going into that situation, and then even depression, now that's just blown up.
And with PTSD, that's the hallmark kind of diagnostic criteria, is that you've had something bad happen, whether it's witnessing a death, finding a dead person, being in an auto accident, having some sort of trauma visited on you, combat, experiencing the threat to my life, the threat to my friend's life. One of the criteria is efforts to avoid things that remind us of the trauma.
Yep. So
they're going through life trying to not think about it. So if I go to the therapist, I'm going to have to think about it. And so this just sets up this loop that people ultimately don't recognize they're going to implode. And there's therapeutic techniques. It's not about being judged when you go into therapy. I mean, if your car's not running well, you take it to the mechanic.
Sure.
You don't worry that the mechanic's going to be mad at you for revving the engine a whole lot, or
True.
If my car's not working, I take it to the mechanic.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
And if I'm having trouble, go to the mental mechanic. Ooh, I like that.
That is good.
Go to the mental mechanic. And there's different, you can go to Psychology Today and kind of peruse what I always recommend when searching for a good therapist or clinician is I would recommend you call 2 or 3 of them. And if they don't call you back, that's a sign. So just keep moving. But when whoever calls you back, and get 2 or 3, whoever calls you back, say that, lie to them. Say this: I got a friend who is a therapist, and they're struggling with some things. They're too afraid to ask and reach out. So I'm asking for them. You, as a therapist, who in town is the therapist for the therapist? Basically, who would you go to if you had a problem?
Gotcha.
And that kind of cuts the wheat from the chaff. And they have to think about it. And they may have a name, they may not have a name, but I would, call 2 or 3 people and kind of talk to them about it that way, and see who's kind of the common name on the list. Sure.
I mean, we do that at restaurants. When the waiter comes walking up, we say, well, what do you recommend?
Yeah.
And we have no idea if this guy has if his taste buds are
Right.
normal or not.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's really good. Well, this is exciting. It's an exciting new chapter in your life. I love change, and it's amazing how little change I've had in my life. So do I really love it? I don't know. Well, I might seek a little therapy on that.
I was reading this article. I sent it to you this week. I know you didn't read it. Probably because it was really long.
Super long.
But there were a couple of highlighted points that kind of are the anchor of the article and kind of cause you to start to pull in and dig deeper. And I wish I could recommend it to other people, but it's have you ever heard of Epic Health.
Mm-mm.
It's I forget their full title, but they have a series of articles on different things, and
Okay.
I'm a subscriber. And this is the mind science behind true resilience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, when we quit, it's because, you know, generally we're not resilient. We may
Sure.
start something and not follow through. We may not start something. We may do something and just kind of be so overwhelmed by it, we never do it again. So, how do you, you know, some people have this resilience.
Mm-hmm.
They keep doing the same thing over and over again because they know it's going to, they keep lifting the weights when they're in the gym, even though they're sick. They keep practicing the guitar, even though, but
Yep.
what brings about resilience in people? And a couple of things popped off the page. This kind of opening paragraph, when it gives some examples of people who've been resilient and come through something really tough.
Mm-hmm.
One guy who lost his leg as a member of the SWAT team and went through rehab and everything, and he's now back out on the SWAT team,
Oh, wow.
full combat gear, missing a leg. Our buddy,
Amazing.
Scott,
Yep. Scotty
Scotty,
falls off a 3-story platform,
yep,
smashes his leg, ends up with a prosthetic after a few years
Yeah.
of fighting to try to keep the
surgery,
foot and the leg.
back surgery,
Yep.
leg surgery, fighting to keep the leg.
Yep. Now he's back climbing up on the roofs.
Yeah.
He's got a prosthetic.
He's got a prosthetic on one of his legs, and he's out there running a business, climbing on roofs, up and down ladders, and mad when the prosthetic breaks.
Yes. Can't believe it.
The doctors can't keep up with him.
If you need your chimney clean, call Fluebird. This episode brought to you by Fluebird. Right here in Wichita.
Mention you heard it here, and you will not receive a discount.
You will not.
But the next paragraph, one thought determines the outcome.
Mm.
Boom. And says resilience has been conceived of as grit,
Yep,
flexibility, and perseverance. An essay published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health likens it to a rock that bears weight without reaction. Like a cornerstone.
yes.
A spring that bounces back from the strain. Or a dandelion that flourishes in the harshest of conditions despite its delicate appearance.
Mm.
That is resilience. Next sentence. Resilience begins with how we see the world.
Perspective.
Mm. And they go on to talk about the research they've done where they show people pictures of, you know, motorcycle accidents or non-stimulating photos, and then they analyze the outcome of people's reactions. And they found that the psychological impact, you know, whether the photos of the accident were upsetting or not upsetting, the psychological impact was, quote, entirely attributable to their interpretation. As writer Anas Nin wrote, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
I've heard you say that before, and I've quoted you in that before. We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
Yep.
That is a fact, because we all have our own perspective.
Yeah.
You talk about one accident, same accident, 2, 3, 4 different different angles of view, different perspectives, and they're describing the same accident completely different.
Yeah. Years ago, I had a super bike, a Ninja, you know, lay down, go fast, and pulled up next to a light with this other guy with his Ninja, and he was so excited, but he was wanting to go racing around town, and I said, I got somewhere I got to be, maybe next time. And he took off in front of me through an underpass, and I just remember being in awe because he popped a wheelie on this super bike and was riding this wheelie under the underpass, and so all of that cool engine sound was, reverberating around, and I'm just puttering along slowly on mine, watching him ride this wheelie as he's accelerating away from me. And at the next intersection, the pickup runs the light. Mm-hmm. And he slams on the brakes and hits the side of the pickup. And plastic explodes like a firework off this bike. And he ends up landing in the bed of the pickup. And he jumps up and holds his hands up in the air like he just scored a touchdown. And everybody, in the intersection stopped their vehicle and ran to him. Mm-hmm. And I, pulled my bike over and ran to him. And when I got to him and I'm helping him pick the bike up out of the middle of the intersection, and he's got the handlebars and I'm pushing the back of it, he is so jazzed. This is great, man. With my insurance check, I'm going to get a new motorcycle.
He was already moving on.
He almost died. Mm-hmm. And this is a good thing.
Well, that is definitely resilience. Yeah. That's some grit.
How we see it.
Yep.
Now, of course, some of the other bystanders, were, clasping their pearls and clutching and crying, and because he almost died. Mm-hmm. You could have died. He's like, I get a new motorcycle.
I've been waiting for someone to run that light.
How you see things.
Yep.
That is the key.
Yep. That is huge. And that's in everything. Everything. That's the whole glass half full, glass half empty.
Yeah.
We have that choice.
Yes.
And for many of us, it may simply be making that appointment to go see someone who can begin to help you to see through the lens of resilience.
And that's the secret. That's not a secret that we don't understand is we understand we can control what we think about. And that's how most of us spend our lives, is trying to think about this and not think about that. And that just, we're muddling along. Mm-hmm. The truth is we can change how we think. We can change it. I've always likened them to sunglasses. Our perspective, we load the sunglasses in and it changes how we see our world. Perspectives are like sunglasses. And because we control how we think, we can change that perspective. It's going to therapy. It's getting a coach even. You can do stuff on YouTube and Rumble and maybe get there. It's the difference between going to the gym and trying to figure the equipment out yourself.
Sure.
Or spending a couple of weeks, spending a month paying for a coach to help you learn the equipment, proper technique, and then you can get wherever you're going so much faster because you took the time in the beginning to consult an expert.
It's good.
And if you kind of approach life the same way, I'm struggling with it and everything I'm doing ain't working. Let me go see a therapist for a couple of months, get some good coaching, learn about how, and that's what you walk in and you say, I don't want to lay here on the couch and whine about my mother for the next 2 years. I want to learn to change how I think. I want to learn to change my perspective so that I can be more resilient, so that I can deal with life's issues. So I can be the rock that is steady no matter what is set on it.
I can help others become resilient.
Yes.
So the fact of the matter is this, and we'll close with this.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is, no matter who you are, no matter what you're dealing with, you can change how you think.
Boom.
You might need some help.
Yeah.
To get it going, to make that shift. But you can change how you think.
Yes.
And that is the freedom, that is the peace that you have been looking for far too long. And it's right there in front of you.
Exactly.
Now, if you're a veteran, go see Doc.
Let's get a waiting list going.
Yeah.
I'm not even there yet.
Not even there. Got a whole line of people.
Yeah.
But so I quit my old way of thinking.
Yeah.
And I am beginning a brand new day, a fresh start.
A new perspective.
On changing how I think. Boom. I like it. Well, congratulations, Doc. Let's give Doc another round of applause. A brand new career path. I love it. Woo! It's exciting. Well,
Full circle.
I'm going to go join the Army just so I can come see you.
There you go. Join the Army. 4 years from now, come to my office.
That's all you got to do.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Just These Guys, today.
Yes, indeed.
We will be back next week. We're not quitting the show.
Not changing the schedule?
Well, I don't know.
I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, you really don't
I
know,
haven't
do you?
figured that one out yet.
Awesome.